Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. It's time to let go of negative thinking, understand why you do what you do and stop the self-sabotage with your host, Fran Excel.
Welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran Excel, your resident subconscious success mentor, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love. If you want to stop self-sabotaging your own success and let go of the stress, then you are in the right place, my friend. Make sure you download your free Stressed to Success guided meditation at bit.ly/stress to success as my little gift to you just for being here. Please do subscribe, share and review. It really, really helps people that need to hear this message find us, and I so appreciate it. In the show notes, you'll also find details of how you can work with me and where you can get your mitts on my meditations, products, printables, programs. You can find it through the link in my bio on Instagram, which is my favorite place to hang out. So please do come join me over there at I'm Fran Excel. Tag me in your takeaways, slide into my DMs. I'm here for it. So that's the formalities over, my love. So let's jump to the content. As I gear up to be properly back in work this week, I've been having a little ponder and reflection on some mindset shifts and ways of thinking that I personally believe could be really, really helpful for 2023. I've seen too many people get sucked in by certain messaging in marketing or in society itself, right? That I believe is problematic and doesn't need to be when we have a little consciousness. So 2022 saw me the most disappointed I'd ever been at some of the behaviour that I saw online, the way people were treating each other, and there was so much drama, and I don't do drama, not my circus, not my monkeys. So I tried to see as little of it as possible, and it really, really frustrates me seeing people behave badly towards other people. I really don't think there's an excuse for it, but after 8 years digging deep into human behaviour, controversial as it may be, I do feel huge compassion towards the people that are doing it. Like, it's wrong, plain and simple. I'm certainly not excusing it or saying I think it's okay. I categorically think the opposite. But when you really understand where that behaviour comes from, it is hard to not find compassion. Even for bullies, even for people who are being absolutely abhorrent online. Like, people that behave in nasty ways to other people or talk badly about people are not happy people. Fundamentally, it's often child consciousness following us into our adult lives. There is something going on there that has created a particular defense and protection mode. And that behavior tends to come from very deep wounds. So when you really truly understand that, it is hard to not have compassion, which in turn really does change how you react and respond to it, and how you are around it. You know, there's things that happened to me last year, experiences that I had with people that were super hurtful, but I also understand where the behavior came from. And I choose to view it with compassion and exit the situation pronto and know it's my choice who to be around and who not to be around and what to be around and what not to be around. No hard feelings, new boundaries. I'm on a mission to help people be more conscious because it really is so fundamental to living a good life, right? Like, that comes from being aware of and then challenging our own thoughts and perceptions, and also taking responsibility for our own behaviour. Because when 95 to 99% of what you do is habitually wired in and automatic, we need consciousness as the absolute basic start to making any change and living a happy life. It's not to demonise the unconscious or say that having unconscious programming is all bad. Far from it. It's incredibly helpful in many, many ways, in many, many scenarios. And we want that automation to conserve our energy. But what we don't want is for it to rule our behaviour, our results, and our lives. We don't want that to have control over us. So these are a few of the shifts that I think are important to at least think about going into the new year. And the first one is the idea of rest versus hustle mode. Hustle has been glorified for many, many moons. And this idea that if you're busy, that equates success. And I kind of think the opposite. It really doesn't mean that in my eyes. I don't want to be busy all the time, running around like a fool and deprioritizing my own well-being. Because in my mind, that means I'm not being efficient based on my own personal circumstances, privileges, nuances, etc. Some people say balance doesn't exist, but I disagree because I believe that balance looks different for everyone. So define your version of balance that makes you feel like you have balance in your life, and screw what anyone else thinks. They're not you, right? Next one, doing what suits you. You got to do you, boo. It really feels like it's time we stop focusing on what everyone else is doing, on comparing, or thinking about how they might be judging what we're doing, and just do what we fudging want to do. Do what suits us, suits our personality, our experience, our life. It is our life at the end of the day, right? And then this is important, and I wanted to get this one in early, is remembering that nuance exists. I think this one is really, really important and quite fundamental. And I talk about it a lot. It's impossible to talk to all people at any one time. It really is impossible. There is nuance to everything. People can't judge people in exactly the same way. We're not looking through the same lenses. We have nuance. They have nuance. Business has nuance. Careers have nuance. Friendships, relationships, family dynamics, things that we've been through, what we want. There is so much nuance to every single thing that you see. So try not to blanket coat opinions and start to question everything with curiosity over judgment. You really might be surprised by what you find and how it shifts things for you. Kind of leads me nicely on to compassion versus cancel culture. Oh my goodness, cancel culture drives me bananas. As I was saying previously, like this one can bring in two of my previous points, nuance and the fact that people's bad behavior is often driven by deep, deep wounds. In 2022, more than any other year, I've seen anger and hatred everywhere I look online. It's something that really made me want to retreat. It's literally served to us, and I'm absolutely not here for it. It was all aimed at people. It was so personal. Is brutal. And as a society, it seems like we're being driven by reactive aggression and outrage. This person must be punished for what they've done or what they've said. The need to hit people where it hurts, which tends to be losing money, their business, or being shunned from society in general, right? Is horrific behaviour. And while many of the people being cancelled, I wholeheartedly don't agree with, when you bring nuance and curiosity and mental health a lot of the times into the situation, things can look very different. There have been many times throughout the ages where the mobs have been wrong. Remember that next time you think about jumping on a bandwagon. Do you have all sides of the story? Extreme views often come from some semblance of psychology or neurobiology for that person that makes sense. Again, not simply stating who's right and who's wrong, but more, how can we make this make sense? Like, what could actually be driving this behavior? Like, what could have happened to this person? What could be going on for them to make them think or behave this way? We're very, very quick to react to how something looks on the surface, usually without going deeper. I don't think that's helpful all round. Next one, which I kind of think I think all of these are a little bit linked. The next one is the truth. Leading nicely on from the previous one. Trying to remember all of the lenses that we look at things through being different. Yeah. This goes back to nuance again. Sensing a pattern here? And when it comes to truth, there are always more than one version of it. In the example of two people falling out, there's one person's truth, the other person's truth, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. One person's is coloured by their lens and their nuance. The other person's is coloured by their lens and their nuance, ego on both sides. And the truth is normally observed by the casual observer, right? So question with curiosity. Next one I want you to think about is you as your biggest investment. I mean, this is not the first time I've said this, but time and money spent on your own health, mental health, well-being, development, and enjoyment is, in my opinion, the best and most, before anything else, important investment that you will ever make. It makes everything infinitely better, and the ROI is bigger than you could ever expect. That return on investment that you get back from investing time or money into your own self. And it's whatever that looks like for you. It could be for you spa trips and retreats and really allowing yourself to switch off. It could be holidays. It could simply be finding 5 minutes to yourself. It could be simply saying, I'm going to read a page of my book today. But it's figure out what makes you feel like the best version of you. What do you need to be the best version of you? And that will look different for everyone. Again, save your fudging judgment, yo. Yeah. And then the next one, I've said this before, and this is really something that I hope lands for people in 2023. People get to change their minds. You get to change your mind. Oh my goodness. If you realize something isn't working for you, if something feels heavy, if something or someone is not serving you anymore, you get to change your mind. It is such a bizarre thing, the amount of stories and judgment that people can put on what other people do with their time and their lives. It doesn't matter. That's a them thing, not a you thing. So follow joy, follow happiness, follow peace. It is your life, right? Another important one, know your people and know your rooms. Know the rooms that you belong in. And if you feel you have to be fake or hide or suppress parts of yourself, it is probably not your room or your people. Just because there's a clique that you're not in does not mean that you are not good enough. Okay. If anything, from the cliques that I've known throughout my life, they tend to be the ones that are doing the fakery and less happy in themselves and always have the most anxiety, because there's always this idea that the other shoe's going to drop, that what if they may get shunned from this clique? There's so much in that, right? But so much of this comes from school conditioning, childhood conditioning about fitting in. Make your own damn clique. Just don't make it cliquey. So spend more time with the people and in the rooms that give you a felt sense of safety. Yeah. Be around the people your nervous system is calm around. You really do deserve nothing short of that. Your body is always talking to you and giving you clues about these things, and make a point to listen. This is the somatic work, right? Notice when you're feeling anxiety. Notice that familiar physiological feeling of feeling uncomfortable. Notice this stuff because it's telling you everything that you need to know. Yeah. Another one. I kind of like this one. High fives over judgment. So on that front of being in the right room, on the flip side of that, if you see someone changing it up, high five them. If you see people going, do you know what? This isn't working for me anymore, so I'm going to do something different. High five that person. Keep your judgment to yourself. Question where that judgment is coming from in the first place, and realize that big changes take gumption. Public changes take gumption, bravery, cojones. That behavior is to be high-fived. It's super brave, right? Leading nicely on to lead with values and kindness. And I don't think this needs much explanation, really. You're not going to win this every single time. You are human. But how could things be different if you did it most of the time? If it was your intention? Because ego can be a little beastie, right? It's human for that to get in the way sometimes. But when you are solid on your values and how you want to behave and how you want to treat others, I promise you'll start to not tolerate anything different from other people towards yourself. It's the very, very basics of treating others how you'd like to be treated. And it is a game changer. Remember, even the toughest, strongest looking people can be extremely vulnerable underneath it. People are very, very quick to forget the phrase, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Aim to remember it as much as possible. Everyone has their struggles and their demons. You never ever know what is going on for someone else. So check on your strong friends. leading on to just be a good person. My life philosophy is don't be a DICK, right? And I'm only not saying these words because I don't want to flag it as expletives for Apple, right? Just be a good person. Lead with that as much as you possibly can. And that kind of ends it. That's my thoughts for what I'm taking into 2023 and things that I really hope I start to see a shift in the general behaviour online. And I hope that it's given you some, and not just online, offline too. All of this applies for offline. And I hope it's given you some food for thought, and perhaps a few things have sprung to mind for you throughout this that you'd love to add. So 2023 is my year of me. And I am so here for it. Like I've said before, there's still some tough bits still to come for me this year. But I know how glorious it's going to be on the other side. And I'm here for the lessons and the growth. And when I'm thinking in the ways that I've just kind of gone through in this episode, I know it's going to be good. And if it's not, I know I'm going to find the lessons. I know I'm going to find the growth. All of that. I'm honing in and doubling down on all the things that make me feel good. Yeah. And I've cheated the system this year and I've chosen 2 words for 2023. How very bold of me indeed. So the first one is authenticity. And this has always been kind of high up in my values. And then it became such a buzzword that it made me cringe a little bit. And I feel like it's having a renaissance. And to me, authenticity means absolutely not changing myself to fit anyone else or anyone else's opinion on what I should be doing or how I should be. Right? Not dumbing myself down or suppressing who I am. It means being with and around people I feel 100% myself with, who will call me out on the stuff that needs calling out, right? It's not ignoring my gut or the red flags. Yeah. So the way I see it, if you're not being authentically you, what are you left with? A career or business you don't love? People who don't make you feel your best? Surface level relationships? No, thank you very much. Not everyone is going to like it, and that is absolutely okay. There will be plenty who do. And again, think of authenticity like a spam filter for your life. The more you are, the more the pieces that don't fit fall away. Wonderful. And the second is fun. This year, I am prioritizing and I'm going to be having some flipping fun. I'm going to try new things, go to new places, spend time with my favorite people, and let my inner child run absolutely wild. It's going to be glorious, and I'm so glad you're coming with me for the ride. So if you got value from this and you know in your gut that now is the time to step up and start rewiring your thinking and start changing things for yourself, then join the Positive Pants Toolkit app and community so you can work out what needs to happen to get you from where you're at right now to the action-taking success you know you can be. And if you want my eyes and ears on your problems, then I work with people one-on-one and through my programs. You can find all the details to join the toolkit or book in a call in the show notes, the link in my bio on Instagram, and on my website, franexcel.com. So stop waiting for if and when and choose to change things now because you can. I'm here to believe in you